The people of Africa are doing excellent work to help the Allied cause, both by the production of raw materials and by finding men for the armed forces. Such regiments as the King's African Rifles and the Royal West African Frontier Force are known the world over, and Africans have played their part in this war from the Abyssinian campaign to the victory in Sicily. These men from Nyasaland were sent to Ceylon to help to meet the Japanese threat against the island. Invasion seemed imminent, and nothing was left to chance. Hard training and incessant maneuvers kept them fighting fit and ready for anything. These men are among the finest troops in the empire, and they're at their best when fighting in the bush. The African soldiers have their own auxiliary services. These are men of the Gold Coast Regiment, many of whom helped to drive the Italians from Abyssinia. Their sappers are quick and efficient. They can build a ferry like this, from folding boats and other material that they carry with them, in 6 minutes. The great strength and endurance of the African is an invaluable asset in work like this. African pioneers, too, have been in many operations, and numbers of them did a very useful job in handling stores and equipment on the shores of Sicily. The Nigerian Regiments form part of the Royal West African Frontier Force, of which their Commander-in-Chief has said never has the reputation of the Royal West African Frontier Force been higher than it is now. They fought in the East African campaign and were in the Battle of the Juba River crossing, which opened the way to Mogadishu, the capital of Italian Somaliland. Men of the light artillery undergo a thorough and arduous training in the bush. They carry their guns with them in sections. Each party knows the gun is useless until every part of it reaches the firing point. Nothing stops these men. Mountains, forests, and rivers are taken in their stride. They are quickly in action when the word is given. They're as keen as mustard, and they're very good shots. These African soldiers are typical of the colonial troops from every part of the empire who've done their bit in every theatre of war to which they've been called. Keen, brave, loyal men who are ready for any sacrifice in the cause for which they fight. Like every part of the empire, Africa had to be ready to defend herself against attack from the air. Colonial troops have proved themselves quick and reliable in every arm of the services, and they soon become expert in handling the most complicated modern weapons. These gunners go to work with skill and confidence, and constant practice keeps them on their toes. Africans are to be found in all three of the fighting services. Here at a shore station in Sierra Leone, African sailors are given their preliminary training. As for our men at home, physical exercise and squad drill form a large part of the early work. The ceremony of colours has a great appeal to the African sailors, and they soon become imbued with the spirit of naval tradition. They make good sailors, and they're a most valuable addition to the naval forces of the empire. Pilot Officer Peter Thomas is the first African to be granted His Majesty's commission as a pilot in the Royal Air Force. Before the war, he was a civil servant in Lagos, the capital of Nigeria. When war broke out, he volunteered for the Royal Air Force and set his heart on being a pilot. Not every man can reach the high standard of physical fitness and mental ability demanded of a pilot. Courage, industry, and tenacity are needed to finish the long and exacting course, and many fall out before the end. But Thomas kept at it, and at length came the proud day, proud both for him and for his unit, when he put up his wings. Pilot Officer Thomas is a fully trained pilot, able to fly any type of aircraft, and he's passed that most difficult of all tests, the course in blind flying. The colonial people have not shrunk from the difficult and arduous tasks of war, but from the beginning have shown that they are able and ready to take their place side by side with all the peoples of the empire in the battle for freedom.